A delegation of U.S. senators recently traveled to the southern border for 2 days of meetings and tours. Among them was Iowa Senator Joni Ernst, who's joining us now live for more on the worst crisis in history at our southern border. Senator, good morning. So nice to have you back on.
Good morning. It's great to be with you, Rob.
Senator, tell us about your trip. According to DHS, almost 2 million migrants have crossed the border illegally in just the last 18 months alone. In 2022, this year is on pace to be the worst year in U.S. history down there. Tell us about your trip.
Yes, it was a very enlightening trip. There were 7 Republican senators that went to the border. The trip was hosted by Senators Cruz and Cornyn of Texas. We saw just a small sliver of the southern border, and what we experienced was absolute horrible situations with the migrants that were crossing. And as a mom, I was just shocked and appalled at the stories I was hearing, not only from the migrants, but from the Border Patrol agents that work that sector. We also heard from a group of landowners that are finding dead bodies on their property. We heard of 5- and 6-year-old girls that had been brutally sexually assaulted just a few days prior by the coyotes, those smugglers that are bringing them to the border. Many of these children are unaccompanied. They're sent on this journey from Central America, from Mexico, facing extraordinary issues all along the way at the hands of these abusers. This is a racket for the drug cartel. What we heard from CBP was that the drug cartels in Mexico no longer are warring with each other necessarily, because there is so much money involved in this smuggling operation that there is plenty to go around for everyone.
According to the DHS, 441 kids, unaccompanied minors, cross the southern border each day. That is by far a record. We're on pace for 161,000 children crossing alone in 2022. That would also be a record. Do you have, we saw what happened down with Maya Flores. She turned a blue district that had been blue for 150 years red for the first time in a long time. Why is the administration, Joe Biden, Alejandro Mayorkas, Kamala Harris, why are they allowing this to happen?
Well, that is a great question. They are simply turning a blind eye to what is happening at our southern border. And yet the folks on the ground in those areas, they are so frustrated. They feel that they have lost their rights as American citizens. They don't feel safe living on their own property. They have cars stolen, people looking through their windows at all hours of the night. Their garages and other buildings occupied. So it is going to be a red wave. People are frustrated. I'm not going to say that there's an ulterior motive coming from the administration. We can speculate about that, certainly. But what I do see is that people are very upset. And so we need attention. And you know what? The people that are voting in this fall's elections will bring their thoughts and attitudes to the ballot box. And then maybe the administration will wake up, because this truly is a travesty, not only for the people on our southern border and all of us that deal with fentanyl and methamphetamine issues in our communities, but also a travesty for those that are at the hands of smugglers as they're being brought into the country.
Yeah, it is so sad. And you think about this happening every single day down there. I know that night tours, typically the Border Patrol will not give night tours anymore just because it's become so dangerous. You were granted the opportunity to see what the situation is after the sun goes down there. What was that like?
Yes, it was, again, very eye-opening. We were able to go out on a night tour with the Border Patrol agents, and God bless them, every single one, for being out there and doing their absolute best to protect our nation. We encountered several different groups immediately when we were on the ground with those agents, and we were able to visit with those migrants that were being brought up to the border. And of course, many of them just turn themselves in because they know that the agents will process them in and then have no recourse but to simply allow them to go into the interior of the United States. They're given a notice to show up or a notice to appear, and that's it. They put them down, they turn them loose, And the cartels know this because of the catch and release policies. All of these folks, you said it, we're approaching 2 million encounters at our southern border. All of those people know that President Biden's policies will allow them to freely come into the country. Yeah. And yet we have refugees from Afghanistan and Ukraine that are struggling to get into the country.
That's a great point. Great point, Senator. 2 million would be more than 13 U.S. states, the population of 13 states.
That's correct.
That's where we are. It's only been 18 months. We got 2.5 more years of Joe Biden. Senator Joni Ernst, thank you so much for being with us. Good to see you again.
Of course. Thanks, Rob.